What's up, SNA Assassinators? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video, and this is the NXT review video on April 22nd, 2025, and we're gonna be talking about like tonight's NXT just days after Stand and Deliver, I believe about 3 days afterwards, and yeah, and also this was a very phenomenal episode in general. And we got like from the news stories, like with what's said on the wrestling news, like what we could possibly could see get called up to the main roster, which they kind of teased that like here on NXT, and also we got a big return from somebody we haven't seen in over a year or almost a year, that is, and and let's say they became a new champion, and also we got a title retained, and and this champion finally got their revenge from having their moments taken away from them not so long ago. Actually, I say not even 24 hours ago. And also we got new challengers for another championship, and we got like almost a winner takes all match, but it turns into just for one title match since the one that that lost since that champion lost to the one that became new champion like happened. Like we got stuff that's gonna be we got a couple of title matches for next week's episode and much more to talk about like here on this latest edition of NXT, just on the post show of NXT. And we still got the Dark State still going on a rampage, and yeah, we're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff here on in this latest episode of the SNA podcast. But before I begin, I want to ask you assassinators to subscribe and click on the notification bell. And if you like this video, please give it a big old thumbs up. And hit on to the notification bell beside what's got the subscribe button. And only not to mention we got the tag title match. It was probably I think pretty interesting, which I'm gonna give it a rating. Like I haven't like a trophy rating that I haven't gave an opener in a little while, and that is the silver trophy of the night. But yeah, but please make sure to subscribe on my other channel at SNA Entertainment. Like link is in the description box below. Now let's get into the first match of the night, and that was the women's tag team title match. And yeah, let me tell you this was totally interesting. It kind of gave a little bit of like something like similar to like a main roster experience for the NXT tag team, which I was like, why this is not for the NXT tag team, women's tag team champions? Because it's been over almost 2 years, I should say, since the last time we saw those titles. Like since they got the women's North American championship, they should add back the tag team titles like they have previously. But this where This where then what's his name? This where then Booker T for some weird reason was on one tonight, which I'm gonna get into the rest later. But the first one was was like him talking trash about Pat McAfee. Learned like you better shut his mouth and know his damn role. But the thing is, he was trying to be a peacemaker, but Gunther went too far and shoved him, which that's something you shouldn't do. And you also shouldn't put your hands on a commentator, no matter how upset you are. But anyways, this is where we got Liv Morgan then started going for a stomp right onto what's his name what's her name to Tatum Paxley. This is why I was like, man, like I see what Shane Swerve is talking about. But anyways, this is where we got Liv Morgan started going for a stomp, then go for a double foot stomp by springboarding right to the bottom of the corner side. This is where the referee like, all right, that's enough. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where she started screaming like, all right, I get it. And this where then it must have turned on Dirty Dominic Mysterio, even though he wasn't here tonight, but just having a feeling of it. But this where then Tatum Pax's like, you better not scream at nobody, or else I'm gonna scream at you, which that was for the best. But this is where she ended up attacking Raquel Rodriguez because she started getting scared of the Benchy like women's star. This is where we got Raquel Rodriguez then trying to go for a stop onto what Raquel trying to go for a stop onto what's his name, Tatum Paxton, only for her to get hit with a. And this is where we got a spinneroo like with with Raquel Rodriguez. This is where we got Raquel Rodriguez go for a snapmare, then she went followed up with a middle drop kick. Then we got Raquel Rodriguez, or Liv Morgan, I should say, trying to go for a pin on the Tatum, but only for Tatum to get the right or left shoulder up. This is where we got Here's where then we got what's her name, Liv Morgan, trying to pick up Tatum Paxley. But Tatum hits a knee driver right to the face onto Liv Morgan. This is where she ends up getting middle drop kick by Gigi Dolan. Then we got her went back in the corner in the upper left side, go for attack. Raquel Rodriguez trying to go for the attack. But this is where we got Gigi Dolan then try to go for his headlock. Then try to go for a jawbreaker. Here we got Raquel Rodriguez car her, then hits her with a backbreaker. Gigi Dolan throws her right to the bottom left side, try to go for splash, only for Raquel Rodriguez trying to attack her. But it's where we got Gigi Dolan go for a swift kick. Then we got Gigi Dolan and ends up going for a crossbody onto Raquel Rodriguez. Then this is where we got her then going up, try to pick her up and hit a body slam, which she did. This is where then she tried to go for a pin. But this is where then we got Gigi Dolan going for a kick out. This is where then we got. This is where Raquel went out of her mind and threw to grab onto Tatum Paxley, throw her right to the bottom left side, only for Gigi to go for a surprise rope, which is the most devastation. This is where then we got Raquel Rodriguez doing go for a boot, but this is where she ends up getting booted by Gigi. This is where she went to the top rope. She gets pushed by Liv Morgan because the referee was distracted by what's her name, Tatum Paxley. This is where then. This is where Liv Morgan was hanging on the rope, started taunting poor Gigi Dolan, like saying like, "Oh, like you're getting you're getting hard." Oh, thank you so much. But yeah, like, "Oh, you're getting hurt, little GG," and this is where we got Taylor Paxton was having enough of her mocking her best friend. This is where she pushed her right off the top rope, then hit a crossbody. Then we got This is where we got what's her name, Tatum Paxley, ends up trying to go for a moonsault right onto both of these women. This is where we got the powerful force and all of pro wrestling came on at least on America, with them being on the CW. But this is where we got once we got done with the partial adverts, this is where we got Raquel Rodriguez was on top. We had a little static, but this is where Raquel Rodriguez, I know, like this. You think you're gonna defeat us? Like, I don't think so. Like, it's not gonna be your moment. It's still gonna be ours as women's tag team champ. But where Tatum actually countered the suplex she was planning on doing, he turned it into a DDT. Then Tatum fell flat on the ground, tried to go for a tag, which he was successful with tagging in Gigi. Where Gigi was starting hitting some forearm strike, then go for a wrist lock and go for a swift kick after hitting the two what they call forearm strike. Then she hits the STO. Then she flipped her right over. Then she tried to go for what's it called, half Nelson German suplex kind of combo, but she ends up not getting the double. Wouldn't get the full pinfall. This is where she screamed out of frustrations. Gigi then tags back in Tatum. This is where then Gigi went to the right side. Tatum went to the left. But this is where they nearly went for Showtime. But luckily they stopped each other when Liv Morgan then moved out of the way. This is where she tags in Raquel. It's a double clothesline, like if she's a female Latina version of Umaga. This is where she tried to go for a power bomb right onto the Tatum. This is where then she turns to a Hurricane Rana, try to go over a pin, only for her to flip it right over. This is where then she flip right back, tags in what's her name? Gigi Dolan. This is where then we got what's her name? This is where we got Tayana Bomb from what's her name? From Raquel Rodriguez. This is where she flipped right over. This is where she gets kicked right in the face. This is where we got Gigi Dolan going for a cannonball. Then we got Gigi to push her right into the middle row. While Tatum Peggy here died when she was like, I'm on fire, which she shouted, which hit the 450 splash. That's the first time I saw Tatum hit such a maneuver. Maybe would have gotten away with it, become women's tag team champion if it wasn't for the meddling. The meddling, I'll say meddler, again, best friend of Raquel, I should say. That's where then she grabs onto Raquel Rodriguez, sends her right into the corner, tags in what's her name? Gigi Dolan, yeah, this is where they go for a double step up into Giri, which followed up with where Tatum packed drug over on hand scissors. She went to the right side, but she ended up getting tagged in by Gigi. This is where she gets kicked right to the face by Tatum Paxton. This is where they hit a triple three-way headbutts. But not triple, not triple. I mean a double headbutt, two-way. That's where they try to go for the STO sideways SOS kind of maneuver. Only for Liv Morgan hit a middle rope drop kick. That's where we got Gigi Joe trying to go for the what they call this Shining Wizard, only to get the Vahana Bondo, flipped right over to the left side. Liv Morgan took advantage of the moment of that help from Raquel, hits the Bolivian, 1, 2, 3, and still your women's tag team champions. Like, which we all know was kind of predictable, but at the same time, like they still made it work. They still make it look like that made it work with Gigi Dolan and Tana Paxley, two girls that look like they're gonna stay on NXT for at least one more year. Like look like very tough competitors and competition that could have took the titles off, especially when they hit that double team on Raquel Rodriguez. And what are your thoughts? Do you think that was a good idea to have Raquel and Liv Morgan retain right here? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But it, this is where we got what's his name, Lexus King, then ends up like going to trying to beg what's his name, Penn and Teller. Yeah, that's what those magicians' names are. That's what his friend. That's what Penn's friend's name is, Teller, the short guy with the orange hair. But yeah, like this is where Lexus King was trying to beg him to get their trophy back. This is where he's like, we'll bring it. This is what they're we'll promise to give you like we'll promise to give you your what's it called, Heritage Cup trophy back, like only on two conditions. Like first of all, well you can. This was like you admit that magic is real and you apologize. I'm like, yeah, I have to agree on that because like I believe that magic is real and I and I and I always wanted to do some magic tricks, which I ended up having like a little play set of a magic set. Only thing I was missing was a magic wand and a hat, like an old school classic magician. But I didn't really need it to play this type of magic games like with cards and stuff like that, and the pin trick and whatever. Yeah, but but this was like, and second of all, I promised to defend that Heritage Cup trophy tonight, and this is where Alexis King is like, okay, I'm sorry, like. This was like he was like, yeah, like okay, I believe you now. Like the magic is very, very real, more probably real than and you guys perhaps. Like so, yeah, you take the cup away, place this thing, this thing, and make sure you I can use but this thing back, and this where then he oh yeah, that, that's where then Penn had told Alexis King said like you didn't let me finish. He's like, yeah, you had the you got a definitive. This is where Alexis King, I've been in Vegas all weekend. I've been training. I've been doing some Vegas. This is where the Penn is like, well, that's the deal. Like, in order to get your cup back, like you better defend it, and like, or else you won't get it back. And this is where Alexis King like, all right, fine. Like, and this is where he said deal. Like, he had no choice, or else he won't get his Heritage Cup trophy back over handshake. This is where it'll probably be it'll be lost forever in the Phantom Zone, I guess you could call it. But this was like now, like say it again, but this time on screen, right in front of the camera. This is where he's like, then he repeated what Penn told him to do. This is where Alexis King said, "Real like magic is real." Like, and this is where then he's like, if for one more for the last time you had to defend it tonight, and Alexis King was like, "Okay, like I guess." That's where like they would show you the trophy, and that's where then Alexis King is like, "Okay, he's still here, but where's my Heritage Cup trophy?" That's where it appeared. That's where it was. They're just like, yeah, baby, like awesome. And then I was like, man, I need to really meet these guys. Penn and Teller, is it? Yeah. And if they're watching the SNA podcast, I want to let them know that I've been somewhat of a fan of theirs for years, and I always wonder how they do such magic tricks like they do. Like I'm kind of jealous right now, and even though I shouldn't because they've been doing this more longer, maybe before I was even born. But I just explain all the partial hairs that they have on their heads. But like the gray hairs, yeah, I said yeah. But anyways, yeah, like but this is where the pin said, like, yeah, yeah, you'll be defending that Heritage Cup trophy. Like this is where Alexis King's like, but against who? With a curious question, but he's like, oh, that's a surprise, and yeah, man, it was a big surprise. I was wondering if they the ones that made this wrestler reappear. Well, like the guy that was the challenger that fought Lexus King for the Heritage Cup trophy. I was like, where the hell did he has been? Like he must have been in the Phantom Zone, but luckily, Mr. Penn and Mr. Taylor, yeah, that's what their names are. Like probably brought him back, like along with the Heritage Cup trophy. But this is where we got the absolute Ricky Saints came out. Like this is where like right before Lexus King like made his appearance and make it known that he will indeed be challenging for the will be challenging for what I'm talking about, like he'll be challenging for the North let's say that we'll see Alexis King coming out here. And yeah, and but we're gonna get into that in just a moment about a tease of a build with these two men. But anyway, this is where the show GCW's Bloodsport in the weekend, which Tavion Heights and what's his name, Charlie Dempsey, like was competing in, like which that would look pretty extremely awesome. But this is where we got the Dark State was talking trash onto them about that. Like saying like that's what we got on Bloodsport with. This is where then we got what's his name, Ren Sinclair, was right after they watched the recaps of their teammates of Charlie and Tavion like competing. And this is where we got Ren Sinclair asked Miles Bourne like what is exactly a what's it called what what is exactly a blood sport? This is where it's like, I don't know, like they didn't even ask what it. This is where the Ren Sinclair like, well, actually, I don't think. And this is where then this is where we got what they call this is where we got the dark state was like I got mommy just put the chair for me. Okay. Yeah, tell her I said thank you along with what's it along with your daddy too. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She is Claire. That's nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Can no waffle. Yeah, go ahead. It's gonna take me 5 seconds to eat it anyway. Yeah. But anyway, this is where we got a dark state ends up interrupting their little conversations. They're like, this is what Sugar said, but this is where we got what Cyrus and said, like, yeah, y'all not exactly like y'all's other teammates. This is where Ren Sinclair was like, that's not true. It looks like that the NQ double C is falling apart before we even get our hands on them. I can like to the D'Angelo family because that's what we do, flip them apart. This is what we got Miles Bourne to reassure them that it's still together and they're not going to be splitting and falling apart anytime soon. But you gotta give him credit when credit's due, even though he's trying to look like the Viper himself, Randy Orton. But he does got some courage and some guts and some nuts. And hopefully I didn't count very important. And like you can put money where your mouth is, like and bet on it. This is where we got what's his name, Javon Evans is enjoying in, like saying like yeah, here we go again. And it looks like this guy. This is where then he's like, it seemed like Darkseid trying to look for another fight. Like, what's up? And this is where then we got Sugars tell Deion Lennox, like, how many times we had to beat this young sorry ass up? And this is where, and then Deion Lennox like, yeah, like you're all by yourself this time. You don't even have no backup. And this is where then Miles Boy's like, whoa, what makes you think you don't like if I'm not gonna fight this alone, like I got your back too. And this is where Javon Evans did thank you, like, yeah. You're like, how about our 2-on-2 goes? And this way, how about we do 2-on-2 if you know what that is? Like considering that like a bunch of guys that did not do math in your time in the learning the facility. This is where then we got uh, Cyrus then like, okay, let's see about that. And this is where then they accepted the challenge. Then there's Javon Evans like, well, what, okay, let's tell Ava with them handshaking each other. I believe this is the full face turn because I think like not so long ago they were just a tweener faction. Now they're turning babyface. Hopefully that will be indeed the case because they're very not gonna be fan favorite today. But anyway, we got Ricky Saints in the ring. This is where he cut a very awesome promo, like after a successful title defense against the All Ego one. Then the fans are chanting Ricky, like, and so he's like, yeah, the emotion's back, baby. And then this is where fans are cheering around loud. It's like, yeah. And we're like, like I kicked off WrestleMania weekend, like with a bang, like when I successfully defended the North American title, like, and this is what raised up hell high. This is where then we got now against the man, like who's ever gonna be a thorn on my side, and that is you, All Ego Ethan Page. And then this is where fans started booing when he mentioned him by name. This is where Ricky Saints would say, yeah, my mom agrees as well, which sounds like Super Ninja Austin would say if he was cutting a promo when like it's somebody that's like against me in the rivalry, that yeah, like even my own mother would probably agree with me on to that one. But anyway, this is where the absolute one did say like, but like I would say this. All everybody around the world watch my match, like because we got a historic 2-night at WrestleMania, but at Stand and Deliver, like I made good on my promise that I said ever since I stepped foot in step foot in this ring, like I turned everything in reality. Like I am the man around here, even though I am a mid card champion. Like but he basically said he's making it like a world champion, and he's a man. He's a man of his word, and he's a man that the man of his words, and he's the man that stand tall like against Ethan Page at Stand and Deliver. And you would love to do it that match again until like he get interrupted like by somebody that he didn't mention by name, which I would expect it to be the All Eagle one. But no, it was a guy that was a former wrestler over at the competition's place, which it was none other than Lexus King that came out, and this is where he had his Heritage Cup trophy win because he had to defend the trophy like right after he got it back from Taylor and Penn. But anyway, this is where we got because over the past WrestleMania weekend they had disappeared into the Phantom Zone or whatever place that they had disappeared at. But it's where we got. But he got it back, but he promised him that he had to defend the trophy. But let's just say it wasn't Ricky Saints, but they did kind of tease that they would be doing like a title for title match of some sort. But like tequila. I run over Las Vegas. I was looking at my Precious Heritage Cup because only those two crowns, like which he referred to the musicians, yeah, Penn and Tail, like that. And this was like, and this is where they said like they made it finally reappear in my very eyes. And then this is where then Ricky says like. And this was like, okay, like why you're telling me? Because why does this have to do with me? He's like, I'm just here trying to put on the show and entertain these fans of telling what I just done a couple of days ago. I'm confused at why you're doing out here. This was Lexi King like it was like, well, you're cutting my ring time, like wasting my time, like with this meaningless celebration promo that you're doing right now. This was like because I have a Heritage Cup championship match up tonight. He's like, and if you don't get the hell out of here, Ricky, he's like, I'm gonna set my sights on that North American title as well, which didn't make much of a difference because this ends up being like a title match scheduled for the next 7 days. And that's what Ricky says, like, well, you already had an opportunity for the North American title, but guess what? You failed in that fatal four-way number one contenders match last week, which it was true because Ethan Page won that number one contenders match, but ironically, he ends up losing to a former colleague, now reunited colleague from the other place, but now here in NXT. But this is where Ricky Saints was like, yeah, but like. And this is where he's like, he tells Lexus King, like, you've been writing checks that you cannot even cash. And this is where they call him partner right after he said that. This is where the Lexus King's like yeah, you know, a lot of things they call And this is where he's like, like about like you, Ricky, that you're just an arrogant prick that who thinks that he can get over like when this gullible from this gullible audience that's basically worships you for no reason, like. But it's where like but in reality they don't love you. They love the king here, which that's his last name in kayfabe, but not that doesn't occur to him as a title that he is. And it's where, excuse me, it's where like you may be a legend of your own life, and and he's like, and you're filled with delusions with Gander, and what else he said, like, which the fans are chanting that he sucks for talking all this trash on their favorite wrestler, which is the absolute one. This where he's like, how about you just put the title on the line next week against me? Like, not only that, like, not just. Like, I'm not talking about like 3 more little guys, like making this a 5-way, or even just you defending that championship. Like, and to stack the odds up, like, no, I'm about it. Like, it's gonna be like, how about be King versus Saints, like title versus Cup, like one fall, that winner takes all. And I was like, man, like, would it be to see these 2 mid card titles? Well, one's a trophy, the other's a championship. Like, it's something that I've probably been thinking about, like, are we gonna ever do like a winner takes all match with these 2 titles? We did it with the NXT and the North American Championship, but those 2 guys end up going to the competition place, which I'm not gonna mention right now. But this is where we got Ricky Saints. No, okay, like, yeah, like you're talking about special. Oh my God, like this is where then he's like you're worried about me, considering the fact that you're waiting for a guy that's wondering who the mystery guy is that they're not gonna obviously tell you. Yeah, this is where he's like, I already know that you name. Like, you didn't talk to Ava all about this, but yo, guess what? You're on, and this is where I believe Saints didn't mention Ava, like, because because he's still trying to be like a comparison to their father, the final boss himself. Which that's only a matter of time that we get a confrontation between these 2 guys, like about that funny reference, like that Salt guy. That's an arrogant scumbag over the other company that's the people's scumbag, or whatever he calls himself, would say, like he's a dollar store version of that guy that's the boss that's in the finale, or whatever you would like to be referred as by courtesy your boy SNA here. But anyways, this is where they knew we got into a brawl, but luckily the referees and the security guards finally got off their lazy asses and broke up the fight. But anyways, this is where we found out who exactly the mystery challenger was for Alexis King's not North America. That's Ricky Saints' title. What the Heritage Cup trophy, and it was none other than probably the enthusiast of that exact same title trophy, and it was none other than the returning, long year absent Scottish Supernova 11 himself, then the leader of the metaphor, Noam Dar. And I was like, where the hell has he been? Like, I never thought he would never make a return back here. But this is where we got a little backstage. But before we get into that, we got a backstage segment with Thea Hale and Kalani Jordan with her after after talking to the new women's North American champion, so Ruka, and her partner Zarya. This is where then what's her name? Call her over to her, Kalani Jordan. This is where then she was like this is where they said. That's where what she said. I believe she said like. That's where then what she said, like there's some that like missed you, like, since you've been gone for the last few months. This is where I believe Jada. This is where then no, not actually didn't. That's where then no, she didn't ever say that. She said like no one ever really missed you, with her agreeing with Jada Parker agreeing like what she said about her, like, even though she'd been absent. And this is where then Kalani Jordan let her know that this is not the same locker room. I believe she must have been taking pointers with her man, like when it comes to promos as a heel. Like, I believe that it's working, because she kind of does remind me of a female version of that guy that's on SmackDown now, that's teaming with that A-lister wannabe that's called Melo Don't Miz or whatever. But this is where then That's where the Fatal Influence is like, wow, like impressive, Kalani. Like, this is what she was like, you couldn't get any worse, but you ended up showing back up, to there. Hell, this is what she told. This is what she told Kalani Jordan, like, yeah, continue to put her in her place, or before we will, and yeah, that's what basically what the segment was, which I don't know why it was necessary for me to bring that up. I thought it would tie in for a good, interesting storyline. For now that we saw the return of Thea Hale, but now is on her own without Andre Chase and the rest of the Chase U guys, which one of them ended up getting released, unfortunately. Excuse me. There's that little tickle on my throat. But anyways, but yeah, wish him the very best of luck in his future endeavors. Like depending on what, no matter what company he will ever go to now. Hopefully, he bounced back from this unfortunate release that he received back a few months ago. But anyways, let's get into the match, like with the returning Noam Dar and Lexus King, which it looked like it's back like a few years ago. He kind of reminded me back in 2018, 2019 of himself with short hair. Like he must have cut his mullet off, because he looked like, yeah, he got the short, like bushy hair like that he used to have back in 2018, 2019. He kind of reminded me like on 2K20, yeah. Like on the game, but this is where he didn't try to go for a waistline, but this is where Alexis King tried to flip out of it, only for him to drop him down, flip his legs up. This is where he got into like a bridge roll up, but this is where he ends up kicking out like at 2.7. This is where Darden picks up King. This is where he tried to go for a step up in Sagiri, only for him to dodge out of it, turn into an ankle lock. Then he dragged him away from the bottom corner ropes, because if he grabs on, it will be over. But it will be like over for a submission hold, like at the rope break, via rope break, let me rephrase that. But this is where then we got Lexus King trying to go for clothesline, only for him to duck. This is where he goes for a pump boot right to his face. This is where then he went right to the left side. The Scottish Supernova then hits a leg swiping kick. And yes, I call him Supernova without the 11, even though he with or without the weapon, that's pretty much the same. But he definitely looked like the Supernova from back a few years ago. Although where has this guy has been? This is where he tried to go for pin, only for King to kick out of it at 7 again. This is where we got the Noam Darnay try to go for a headlock maneuver. This is where this is where he licked his wrist tape. This is where he started rubbing all over the face of Lexus King. I believe he was trying to rub his beard off, like if it was made out of if it was made out of a pen, like, or ink, or some kind of an ink in some capacity, which it kind of does, by the way. But his beard, but he doesn't realize his beard's attached to him. This is where he tried to flip him right out of it, but he ends up getting wheelbarrow crucifix pinned. But this is where he only got a count of 2.2. Then he tried to go for a sleeper right onto the second generation wrestler. This is where then we got Lexus King's like, no, you're not putting me to sleep. This is where he ends up going to the upper right side, hits him face first right onto the turnbuckle. This is where then he hits a flying forearm strike right into the back of the head of Noam Dar, only for Noam Dar to kick out of it at 7. But this is where then we got Lexus King going for a foot stomp, rub him right in the head. This is where then we got. But this is where we got Lexus King trying to go for a headlock, start hitting some right hand to the face onto the former Heritage Cup trophy winner. This is where. This is where this is where fans start chanting, "We want Nova," or Nova, yeah, which is because they want him to win. This is where we got, what's his name? This is where we got Lexus King trying to go for a knee strike, only for Noam Dar to grab onto his leg, trips him right over, hits him back first. Then we got him slap him across the face, but this is where Noam Dar hits a forearm strike right back at him. This is where we got some cheers from Noam Dar, but boos received to Lexus King. Anyway, does a forearm strike, leg swipe kicks onto the on the arrogant King, but this is where we got Lexus King accidental his leg for the last time. He ends up getting him with a knife edge chop. Then he got right down. This is where we got the Lexus King to try to go for a chop again, and like a forward and then the back fist. This is where then he dips him right to the left side, turns it to the right side. This is where he goes for a roundhouse kick. Then we got another roundhouse kick. This is where we got, what's his name? Alexis King then hits a super kick right into the face. This is where he try to go for a pin. only for him to get a 2 point, what was it, 4? Because we got Lexus King get the show. I mean, not Lexus King. Noam Dar get the shoulder up. This is where we got Lexus King to go up right in the top rope. Then this is where we got him to go up right in the top rope. This is where we got Lexus King get the swanton. Only for him to miss him by a couple inches by Noam Dar. Like, this is where we got up. This is where he hit the discus back fist, and then followed by a spinning back elbow. Noam Dar looked like about to hit his running step up into gear or shining wizard maneuver, whatever he calls it. I believe it's called the Super 11, but no, I think he hit the spinning elbow. Looked similar to a certain. It looks similar to like a certain wrestling teacher, which he used to wrestle here as those numbers and letters nickname, which I'm not sure if I should get into right now due to him being on the other company. But yeah, he's the first ever champion of that company, I should say. But this is where Noam Dar goes for a pin after that back elbow. Hopefully, we won't get no cease and desist papers from that same guy. But yeah, he gets the win. And yeah, in the shocking fashion, he recaptures his cup trophy. And your winner and new NXT Heritage Cup champion, and that is Noam Dar, the Scottish Supernova. And what's your thoughts on him winning back his trophy? Do you think this was way past due, or just that, or that's only his return? Were you expecting Noam Dar to eventually come back here and win it right back? And if you did, you were 100% correct, because that's what exactly we did tonight. And how long do you think he's going to hold on to this trophy for? Let me know down in the comments below. But it's where to start advertising for Stephanie Vaquer and Roxanne Perez. And man, you should have heard me when I was watching this. I was clowning on both the Prodigy and their former wrestling teacher, which he's a commentator on NXT, out of funny coincidence. But anyways, let's move on to the next slide to talk about. Let's see. Which is Roxanne Perez, I believe, with her was in a pre-match interview, I should say. But I want to ask you this question: who side would you on? Were you on Team Stephanie Vaquer or Team Roxanne Perez? Please leave a comment section right down below. But yeah, let's talk about Sarah Schreiber was interviewed with her basically about the champion. This is what she was like, yeah. You cost her a big opportunity against when she was facing off against Io Sky for an opportunity for the Women's World Championship. This is where Roxanne Perez like, yeah, I'm not gonna deny it. Like, I did, and this is where like you're like, you're right, familiar. Like, that's supposed to be my moment, not Stephanie. Like, no, no, she decided that it was her moment. No, guess what I did? I ruined the moment for her. And I totally deserved that. It was like, that felt so good. And I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know if Julia's gonna have an idea. If Stephanie has a problem about it, then maybe she should do something about it and get on my face. But she obviously won't. She won't. She's a coward because she's not 100%. Yeah, she's tired, she's trained and stressed about everything as she's done for the past couple of days. And then the media, with the media, the interviews, the appearances, with her this overwhelming stress. And I should know that because I was in that position. What Stephanie is in right now. I was the NXT Women's Champion before. I had to defend, and also had to defend the title 48 hours after winning it at Stand and Deliver, which I believe that's true because, not defended. I mean, I think she regained the title, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she won the title at same time last year, and then she defended it against, who was it? In an open challenge at on that Raw after Stand and Deliver, I believe, because it was 48 hours. Yeah. That's what Roxanne Perez is like. If I was everything but the Prodigy, the Slam the award when the Superstar of the Year, I would have lost. I would have won. If it was me, I would have won. But unfortunately, Stephanie, she had to get. But the only thing she's forgetting that I am the Prodigy. This is what she's like. And as the NXT Women's Champion, I'm gonna work on getting a 3-time and a record breaking, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm looking for a record breaking 3-time NXT Women's Champion, which I believe I believe this it will probably I believe the Hurricane probably move over to the Midwest before that even happens. But anyways, this is where then we got a Fatal Influence that came out, which I believe Fallon Henley have a match against Thea Hale, and I'll say I gotta admit Thea Hale has improved from the last few months of her being absent. Like with her still being at a young age, just at the age of I believe 22 or 21. Like, yeah, she definitely showed that she's like a true veteran in the division. Like, despite a lack of women's championship reigns. But anyways, that's where we got her arm dragging, barreling, what's her name? Wheel barreling Fallon Henley. This is where she tried to throw her right into the corner, but this is where Fallon Henley didn't grab her into an arm bar, but this is where, what's her name? This is where we got, what's her name? Thea Hale trying to hit her with the Kimura lock like she did to what's her name this past Saturday? Izzy Dane. This is where she ends up getting thrown neck first right into the ropes. This is where she kicks her right into the face. This is where we got Fallon Henley that ends up throwing her right to the bottom right side diagonal from where they were. This is where she had to fly and try to hit a forward elbow strike, but this is where she probably damaged her elbow and her side in the process when what they left the house of the turnbuckle. Miss Hale here. This is where Thea then hits a back elbow. Then we got the self-proclaimed grown-ass woman go for a sliding. What's that flying head scissor maneuver? This is where then she goes for forearm strike, clothesline. Then she goes ducking out of the clothesline front foul. It would turn into a wrist lock. Then she kicked her on the left knee, kneeling her down, hit the flying clothesline onto the Fatal Influence female one. Then this is where then she tried to go for a back elbow. This is where then she gets pushed right off. This is where she tried to go for an attack on the Thea Hale. She tried to go for an explosive suplex, but this is where it ends up getting botched. Again, flip right, which Fallon did flip right out of it. This is where then she goes for what they call a single pump handle suplex maneuver, whatever maneuver by Henley. This is where we got Jasmine Nixon trying to distract the referee to help her best friend JC to hit a cheap shot to help their other bestie win. But this is where then we got this is where Fallon Henley was like, no, I can do it myself. This is where this kind of teased like a split right here between JC and Fallon, but this is where Fallon's like, you know what? Maybe you're right, JC. Since the referee's still being distracted by Jasmine, how about we could do a little double team move here? This is where Fallon was holding on to the Thea, while what's her name? While JC Jane tried to go over a pump kick, but this is where Thea Hale smartly moved out of the way. She actually kicks Fallon Henley, just like teasing some miscommunications with the two women. Like this is where we got this is where Thea Hale then hits a massive headbutt right onto JC Jane through what's her name? Fallon Henley back in the ring. Hits a forearm strike on the Jasmine. This is where then she goes for the what they call like a cartwheel flip into a butterfly double underhook suplex driver. Then she turned into a Kimura lock, make her tap out. Winner of this match, Thea Hale. And what do you think was next for the former Chase U member? And do you think that success in her future? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll say with this version of her, I would say absolutely. But anyways, this is where we got Obafemi was heading out to the ring, like because yeah, he has plenty to say what happened on his main event match against Trick and Javon. But yeah, we saw this is where then he started off saying like he set it into a blaze, like he burnt burned it to ashes, and he told him to wake directly up. This is where fans start chanting for Oba. This is where we got Oba Femi like, and we'll say like during the build up of this match, like I said a few things about Javon Evans, like I called him nothing but a child, and he wasn't ready for this championship, and I said he couldn't handle this, and he's like. And then I told him to just just go off and fight for a lower level championship, but not the ruler. Like, but regretfully so though, because I gotta admit, like because the young OG was a lot better than I thought and how I described him like before we even had this triple threat battle. And he was like, and he kind of gave Javon Evans his flowers, saying like, yeah, they call him the young OG for a good reason. He took me to my limit. Like, in fact, like he was just a puny pinch away from beating me. Like, even though like but his victory went down the drain because Trick Williams decided to get back up and stop him from doing so. And I'm glad he did so. Because I'm still holding this championship, but I gotta admit, Javon, he's gonna have the best years in his career. So shout out to the young OG and give him credit that he deserves. And this is where the fans are chanting young OG when he. And this is where it's but back to myself, the ruler, he's I'm just that much better, which there was a arguably of mixed reactions from the fans, which they were not sure if that's an accurate opinion about the. Yeah, that's an accurate, even for his own opinion, that it seems like that Javon Evans is just a tidbit more better, even though they call Oba the ruler for a good reason, but. That doesn't mean he can rule over Javon Evans if it was a one-on-one contest. We got to put that in the test, which I believe that's what they're going to lead it into. But not just yet though, because here comes the guy that looks like about to get written off of NXT, get called up to the main roster whenever the WWE has their draft ready. This is where Trick Williams no, Oba, no. This is where Booker T's oh yeah, this is the next me. Booker Trick Williams T. Which I don't know what that even is. I don't know why I just made that up. But anyway, this is where Trick Williams came out. So that's what you. And this where okay, I need to shut up right now. But anyways, and this is where it's no, it's not over. It's still gonna be you and me in a rematch. Give me my opportunity for the NXT championship. And I think this is what Booker also thought that the T in his name stands for Trick, like Trick Williams' name. That's my sort of a theory. I'm oh, that's very interesting. I thought the T stands for Terrence or Terrell or whatever those names that start to letter T, because they show what his real name is. It's Booker something Huffman, yeah. And I'm sorry I had to say it, because I'm just trying to just point out the logical explanation into it. But this is where Trick Williams this is where Trick Williams just starts out like a heel, saying nobody don't care about Obafemi, the ruler right now. What they care about Trick Williams. This is where then Trick Williams your mama likes him, which he told the fans that, and I was like, damn, and I started dying with laughter, and now I mention it, my old mother would start dying with laughter when I told her that. Which I had to, that gave me the opportunity to give Trick Williams a golden trophy of Goofy Wrestling of the Night for saying that, for giving that line, saying the young fans, his mother loves the ruler. They wish that he ruled over them, which I don't know what that even means. But anyway, this is where we got Trick Williams to it's a title that you let people butt into the situation, just like you did with Javon Evans, when it's supposed to be you and me. And this is where he told him, which he assumed that he gave Javon Evans a title shot that he doesn't deserve, which actually in reality, even Corey Graves, which we all know that he's a douchebag from time to time, even admit that that Javon Evans even deserves a shot at the NXT championship. But this is where we heard a theme music that we never thought we would hear yet, not until a next month or two, which it was indeed the guy that was Randy Orton's what's that called, mystery opponent, and the reigning defending TNA world champion, the guy that my boy Simon Miller said beat the hell out of him back a couple of days ago in his Ups and Downs WrestleMania Night 2 review in Las Vegas. This is where then we got Corey Graves, and Vic Joseph was like, oh my God, he's actually here. This is where then he made his appearance with him, which we heard the theme song, Say His Name, and he appears. And this is where it was Joe Hendry that came out. This is where then fans start believing in him even more than they ever did when they start waving their hands around like if he's in a concert. Performing, even though he does sing his own theme song, which is I Believe in Joe Hendry, by the way, of course. But anyway, this is where we got the man that everybody believes that's going to be a megastar and came in the ring. This is where he's Trick Williams, I have so much respect for you. Even we even teamed into a tag team match. And this is where it's but Trick, I got to admit, you're not the same person than the last time I saw you here on NXT. And this where, and the way, And he was like, and now you fall from grace from the ruler himself, like, and you lost. And since you lost your title, you have changed, Trick. You almost soak in the cheers and the chants of the fans. And that's where he's like, and whoop that chance, whoop that Trick, and he's like, and now you're going back and looking yourself. Look at yourself and self pity, I should say. That's what Trick was. And this was like, now I proved that you listened to the fans, like, and I did it, like, and I did. I finally had my moment at WrestleMania, even though he took a defeat by the Viper himself. But this is where then we got fans then start chanting, "We believe, we believe, we believe," repeatedly, like about 20 times. This is where the Joe Henry could do well, like the Trick. I'm gonna have to tell you this right now because nobody else wouldn't do this because you're not hungry. It's like you're not hungry right now for a championship. You're entitled and desperate for a championship. It's where fans are like, "Whoa!" Like you just roasted him, and it's where then and this where then Joe Hendry. What'd you say? And these black pants. Oh. And that's where then Joe Hendry could just like what he said after he then said he's entitled and desperate. Like you made me think the reason why he didn't win back the NXT championship like is because of the fact it was yourself, or you still start thinking just maybe like Trick Williams is nothing but a whiny bitch. And excuse my language, but that's what Joe Hendry just said. And I promise you assassinators that I'm gonna kind of uncensored the uncensored make this like whatever like that's uncensored from wrestling company. I'm gonna say right here on the podcast. But this is where fans are saying woo when Joe Hendry then described the former leader of the Whip That era. Then this one, then he then took offense that, took off his shades, and like, oh, really, you like, and this is where he called him Minute Maid by telling him to hold on. This is where then he tried to go for a comeback. That's where he's like, oh, well, you know what I believe in about you? I believe that you don't fit in. And this is where he told me, this is where fans like, oh, you did this, and this is where he's like, and not to mention, like, you got your ass whooped this past Sunday by the Viper himself. Let's talk about it. Like, this is where fans are like, oh, well, you're going to go there from 48 hours ago? This is what Trick Williams could do. Like, if you're doing, he's like, and I can do your own favor. I can take that title off of you. Like, and but before I get a chance to do that, like if I was you, I would say go back where you belong, like in the total nonstop action. This is where he's like, let us big dogs talking. This is where Joe Hendry's like. This is where he's like, yeah, I did lose to the RKO man himself, which I believe that he just referenced his full name of the Viper himself, which it is Randy Keith Orton, by the way. But this is where then we got. He's like, but I got 60,000 people at WrestleMania. This is where he shot out, like something that you failed to do. Like I was actually in the ring and you were in the stands watching in attendance after your unsuccessful title match. He's like, and I'm not going to win this, but I'm not going to leave this ring because your current TNA World Champion, like, by the way, will indeed the championship at Rebellion this Sunday in TNA's pay-per-view. And this was like, well, like, you got some business to discuss, like, well, with the NXT champion. This would start teasing some crossover kind of angle, like, because like we could see a title versus title match down the road between him and Obafemi because he went directly face-to-face with Obafemi. And this is where fans are like, whoa, like, we're finally going to get this title for title, like situation. This is where then Obafemi was like this was like, don't make the same mistake that Trick almost made. And then this is where then this is where the fans are like, whoa, like we're like hopefully we're gonna get this match. This is where Trick Williams is like, hold on, I don't think you're gonna forget about me, like how Bianca and Rhea did to Io. This is where he's like, you forget, you owe me a one-on-one match, Oba. And this is where then he pushed. And this is where then he pushed Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry took offense to that, and this is where then he had a big old right hand to the face. This is where Obafemi took a shot as well to Trick. This is where they started hitting shots into each other until he fell right down to the ground. This is where like, let's get this sucker out of here. This is where they threw him out like through the middle ropes right into the flat ramp that connect to the ring, like the other company usually will have, like if they have those big building shows, like especially in the East Coast, like in the Northeast side, I should say. But this is where then we got Joe Hendry and Obafemi did a stare down again, which they exchanged some words without their microphone. Yeah. But what are your thoughts onto this? Yeah, this return of Joe Hendry, but this time with him being his TNA champion. And do you think we could do a title for title match? Which I think they should have done that with the Hardy Brothers against what they Fraxium before Fraxium lost their NXT tag titles against Hank and Tank this past Saturday. Like they should have did like a ladder match for both the TNA and the NXT tag team. But I guess it was for the best, like considering the fact that we need to see the NXT tag division start evolving. Like if they're going to be recognizable stars, like when they get that main roster call up. So I guess that is understandable why they didn't do a title for title match onto that caliber. But anyways, is where we got the former D'Angelo family member, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, then told the other D'Angelo family member, like invited him to come down to his location, which was nowhere but the desert itself, which I believe something got into the head of Channing Stacks Lorenzo to start making him act so strange because it like started off with him not listening to Tony D'Angelo by taking matters into his own hands by behind D'Angelo's back without his permission. And second of all, like he finally betrayed what's his name, the Don of NXT, and now he's telling Luca Crucifino to meet him in the desert for some ever given reason, which I believe he did finally explain why did he attack Tony D'Angelo and turn on him. And this where then he was like, this where Luca Crucifino was like, what the hell you were thinking of attacking the Don? And he's like you. And it's like have you ever remembered like whenever time that you were in a very horrible situation, Tony Angelo got yourself out of and saved your ass? He was like the bond that you have, like you can't like y'all guys came from the streets as champions, like Tony made you an underboss for a reason. Like you pledged your loyalty, like and you disgraced the D'Angelo family. You need to make this right now. He was like, you need to sit down and settle this. This is where the Chase Stacks was like, Luca, like, do you hear yourself now? This is where then he gave him the shushing motion into his hand. This is where then he looked right in the side, making sure nobody's out here. This was you know why I invited you out here in the middle of the desert? This is where I was asking why. I was like, why? Like, and this is why I nearly slapped my very undue dreadlocks, like if I'm Simon Miller, if he had them. But he does it with his bald head, of course. But this is where then Channing Stacks Lorenzo was like, well, like what's the reason? This is where then we got Luca Crucifino. Then nearly said the non-PG word, said, "Oh, fudge on sweet and chocolate kiwi kale." And this is where, I was like, like, don't tell me we're going to see a kayfabe murder scene here, like, which I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being the case on next week's NXT to follow up. Like, when he did, this is where then it was like a situation like, this is the moment when he knew that he flubbed up. And if I was not trying to keep it PG, you obviously knew that I was not going to use the word flub. But anyways, what are your thoughts onto this very psychotic angle? Let me know in the comments down below. And do you think do you think this is gonna be a slow burner of wiping off all the members of the D'Angelo family to kill them off on the NXT brand? And do you think this is a sign that we could see them being called up to the main roster? Which I don't know how that's possible because WWE is the same show. Like NXT is the same show as the main rosters in WWE, I should say. They kind of did this with the Pretty Deadly. They kind of killed them off by having them kidnapped and gotten them tied up into a trunk of a car from the D'Angelo family, and next thing you know, they got called up to SmackDown, which I wouldn't be surprised they did a similar situation here with the Tony D'Angelo and the rest of the family here, like with this new heel character from Channing Stacks Lorenzo. And do you think this was a perfect way to write him off to get him called up to the main roster, or do you think this is a bit too silly? Let me know in the comments down below. But let's move on to the next slide. This is where we got That's where then we heard that Sol Rika's a double champion. I was like, where's her other championship if she's a double champion now? This is where then they explain what with the accomplishment. This is where we all know, obviously, the first one was the one I amazingly got the prediction right on Standing Deliver. And so Ruka became the new women's North American Championship. Like, and I even said like, yeah, whoever that's gonna win the championship is gonna help them benefit them becoming the next I'll say the next major megastar in the company. But this were the and then what was the other accomplishment? What's the other championship? I totally forgot what the title was, but this is where it was like, yeah, like all the six women were just basically booming like each other, in order to get try to unhook that title, like. But it ended up being me. Like I was the lucky ones, like from hitting a soul snatcher to everybody, including Zarya herself. Like, and she even apologized to her tag partner that happened to be in that exact same match. But they put their I'll say partnership aside and make this a fair every woman for herself kind of contest. But it's where they get immediately interrupted from their interview by Sarah Schreiber by the same women that regained their titles the day ago from Becky and Lyra, and the successfully retained it tonight here against Gigi and Tatum. Yeah, this is where it was Liv and Raquel themselves. This is where it's like, we are the current women's tag team champions, but like, who are you guys again? And this is where it did, like, oh, that's right. Like, oh, that's right. Like Zarya, your friend may have a yeah, belt that you can carry, but you don't have a damn thing. And I was like, really? Like, you really had to embarrass her right here in this moment. Like, this is where to start. This is where to start cracking up and laughing in maniacal manner. This is where we got Raquel. I wear sunglasses indoors because I'm a bad girl. Rodriguez did ask like how about you borrow her title so you don't have to be embarrassed. And this was like, and in fact, like, why don't you ask her to borrow her other title, which it was a lack of like that we saw here tonight. But this is where the soul Ruko's like, I see what you're trying to do. I see both through to you. You're trying to split me and my partner here up, like just because I'm the new women's North American champion. Well, I wouldn't doubt. Like just by looking at what happened between Lyra and Becky last night, I wouldn't put past like that we can see the similar situation here between the duo of Soruka and Azaria, which Soruka even gave themselves a name, which is called Saruka, if I'm not mistaken. But it's where and that's what she said that you're gonna take between the two of us as besties. And she's like, and how about y'all just walk along? I want, which it did. It was referring to the women's tag Zarya, which that will give Zarya a championship as well, which was very unselfish of the reigning defending women's North American champion. Where we got this is Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez then denied and declined the offer that a challenge that they wanted from them. This is where they're like, yeah, like if that will ever happen, this is where she's talking about like, ha 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 ha, and this is where the and this is where we got Vic Joseph was like I hear something about Trick Williams throwing a tantrum, which he started throwing everything out on the backstage area. I'm like, like he's losing his mind, like he's starting to be like a Booker now, like when Booker T, like if he don't get what he wants, he probably did this back in his time in the ruthless aggression era, or maybe even before then. Maybe there's some times WCW. No, I'm just exaggerating, but. This is where we got Ava found out like he was throwing a tantrum and started messing with the equipment of the backstage area. This is where this is where we saw like the screen went black and green and blue and even pink, like because he knocked off the was that the recording pictures like onto one camera. This is where we all can hear is Ava telling Trick to get out of there because he's going way too far and he's letting his frustrations get the better of him and take over him. And this is where we got Javon Evans. Next thing you know, like was entering the ring next with the other camera showing him. Like this is where they zoom in, like it was the young OG, like getting in the ring with what's his name, Miles Bourne. They were getting ready for their match against the Dark State, which I believe that they're basically the Shield. They're the NXT Shield 2.0 wannabes. But this is where we got the match start off with Deion Lennox and what's his name, Miles Bourne. This is where he was in the offense. This is where then he got him right into the corner of the upper left side, go for a wrist lock. Then we got Javon Evans to go for a double axe handle right onto the I'll say the what's it called, the Dark State member, the leader, I should say, as a matter of fact. This is where we got Deion Lennox go for a right hand. This is where we got Javon Evans didn't get thrown by Lennox into the right side. This is where then he tried to catch them to like a pop-up power bomb or whatever move that he had in mind. But he ends up getting intercepted by the young OG with a pop-up Hurricane Rana. This is where he goes for a springboard leg drop into a Hurricane Rana, send him right to the bottom corner slide. This is where he ends up tagging in Cyrus, if I'm mistaken. This is where he's like, okay, like now, this is a big challenge. Am I right? This is where Javon was like, you damn right it is, and I'm gonna complete this challenge. This is where then he tried to jump right on top of him, like if he's climbing on Mount Everest. But this is where he ends up getting picked up by the Dark State member. This is where Cyrus tried to go for a right hand. But this is where we got Javon Evans hits some right hands repeatedly right to the face onto Cyrus until he grabs onto his neck, throws him right to the bottom left side. But this is where he gets pushed right back. So getting hit with stroking jabs by the young OG. This is where we got the Cyrus that goes for a forearm strike. This is where they throw him right to the left side. This is where we got Javon Evans and slides right to the left side, hits him with a knee strike, followed up with a drop kick. Then he tags in Miles Bourne. This is where the Orton wannabe then hits a missile drop kick. Yeah, I think so.
It goes.
You need to get that dude off your underwear.
Come on. But this is where we got.
Hey guys,
Trey.
goes
Come on. Anyway, this is where we got.
And that man.
This is where we got Javon Evans and Miles Bourne start looking at each other. They're what you need to do. Like, this is where,
it's so cool. I love him.
they get Batman is cool, but that's not the point of this review video.
So good. And
But anyway, this is where we got.
Good. He can fight guys. Watch.
This is where we got what? This is where we got what's his name? This is where we got Javon Evans trying to go over a dive on the Lennox, only for Cyrus to call him. This is where he's like, "Oh, you think I'm gonna let you tarnish my leader? Do you?" And this is where then we got Miles Bourne like, "No, but I will." This is where he hits the cannonball on both men, knocking him out like right over the top rope. This is where he's like, "Let's go, States!" Like, yeah, let's. Like, what you got to offer us? Like, yeah, let's do this, Javon. This is where the. And this is where they show the replay of the dive. This is where we got.
Batman's so cool.
Come on. They can barely see me. To try you. Come on.
He's so cool.
But anyways, this is where we got
John.
This is where once he got done with the partial ad, I mean not the full advert, not the partial, the powerful force and all of pro wrestling, the commercial break. This is where we got Deion Lennox was on top, like with him just basically just torturing and battering the young OG. This is where he's like the young OG, more like the OL, I should say, the young OL, like this is where then this is where he tags in Cyrus. This is where then he throws him right back to Lennox. This is where then he goes for a pop up like into a power slam, a jiggy maneuver, like just send him side to side. Then we got him try to go for a cover. He got a 1-2. Maybe they got away with it sooner. If it wasn't for the meddling Orton wannabe that just tried to come in and help out his partner of the night. This is where we got Cyrus. Is like, okay, it's gonna cost your partner. It's gonna cost one of your partner's kidneys. Like I'll bust him out of his midsection.
Go to the bathroom. Get the white.
This is where then we got This is where we got Javon Evans to go for a closeout. This is where we got. I'm ducking our way. This is where we got. They got Miles Bourne hit the forearm strikes right onto the Dark State members. Then hit a closeout on the Cyrus. This is where we got.
You gotta go dump that in the toilet. She said go to the toilet and do that.
Yeah, please, Bert.
Can't help me.
This is where we got But I was born to go for a power slam. Repeat it.
Yeah,
No, take that down.
Oh, why don't you go to the bathroom and do it?
You know me?
Oh my God. Excuse me for a second. I don't know why you need my help when you can just do something that's so damn simple. No.
It's simple. You should set his ass on the toilet and
That's
drop
what-
it in there. Now I gotta pick the candy up. God. Thank you, Mary. Oh, my back. Find the devil's doors. I need to eat nobody. Yeah, I do believe in Jesus. Come up with my son. Clean this out. I get up and have to tomorrow. Let's don't go pick any toys up. Lord help me. So some more money.
All right, assassinators, I'm back. Sorry, I hope we kept you waiting for too long. But anyways, that's what I was saying. Back to the tag team match between Javon Evans and what's his name? Javon Evans, Miles Bourne, and against the Dark States, was it Deion Lennox and what's his name? Deion Lennox and Cyrus, if I'm mistaken. This is where we got. This is where then he hit a power him on the Cyrus after he did the Deion Lennox, which I believe he did a very right.
When you was in there with him, I looked in on the baby.
Right. He was still asleep, right. Yeah. But this is where we got Miles Bourne to go for a kip up. Then he picks up Deion Lennox to go for a fireman's carry. This is where he hits him with a neck breaker maneuver. He probably got away with it if it wasn't for Deion's meddling bodyguard that looks like if he's a goofy brother of his. But this is where Javon Evans did go for a springboard cross clothesline. So soar in the sky. The young OG then waited for him to go to the left side. This is where he starts shaking onto the ropes like if he's his own version of the Ultimate Warrior and Batista and Montez Ford. This is where he goes for a springboard crossbody, if I'm mistaken. But this is where we got what's the name? Deion Lennox hit a straight up spine buster on the Miles Bourne. This is where he tags in Cyrus so they can finish off the no quarter catch crew member. Then we got Deion and Cyrus. Then it picks him up, goes for a double backflip, no head to the leg powerbomb maneuver to get the 1, 2, 3. Winners of this match: the Dark States, Deion Lennox, and Cyrus. And yeah, they get the win. This was just a filler match, probably just a teaser of what's to come. Like maybe we could see like Javon Evans and the No Quarter Catch crew could come together and they could be in this 8-man tag feud. And do you think this could be a future rivalry, like down the road for NXT Battleground? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. But this is where we got Yoshiki and Amora then met up with Ava in her office, if I'm mistaken. This is where then Ava's like, yeah, and Amora, like you're just the perfect guy that I want to see. This is where then Yoshiki and Amora then was like, okay, like you asked me here, and he's like, you asked me here for something. This is what Ava's like, yeah. First of all, like people at Stand and Deliver love your performance out there. This is where it's like, yeah. Like they were very everybody wanted you at Stand and Deliver, and that's why I asked you for an opportunity. This is where the Yoshiki and Amora pointed it out and acknowledged that his time in WWE's developmental brand is coming to a sad end. And he's about to go back to the pro wrestling in Japan, and this where then he's like, and thank you so much for your service here and invite me here to an opportunity. This is where Ava's like, yeah, no, welcome, no problem. It's been a pleasure to have you here in this brand. This is where we got. What are you doing? This is where Yoshiki is more more respect. Like I wanted to ask this one more favor. This is where he didn't mention it. This is where Ava was asking, like, are you okay? Like,
get up here and know my trash.
Asking this very curious question that was concerning of her. This is where Yoshiki was like, well, I actually want to do.
You need to keep it clean.
Like, I want to do actually Briggs a favor because it's something they want to do with me. Like, I want to say that we were just a pinch away from winning an opportunity for the tag team championship. This is where Ava's like, yeah, I know. Listen, this is where Josh Briggs like, wait, what's going on? Like, are you okay, man? This is where the Yoshiki was like, yeah, I'm all good. Like, I'm just kind of devastated. Like, I'm having a little bit of a moment here. Like, and I'm feeling bad that we never became the tag team champions in the first place. This is where he put his face in his hands out of disappointment. This is where this is what Ava's like, you know what? Like, since y'all missed out for NXT Stand and Deliver, like how about we will do a tag team match next week against Hank and Tank for the tag title? This is where Yoshiki was like, oh my god, like thank you, this means the world to me, Ava. This is where Josh Briggs couldn't even believe, like yeah, this is where then he bowed his head out of respect to Ava. This is where the Josh Briggs like we're really gonna get a shot at these. This is where he's like. This is where he's like, how did you do that, Yoshiki? This is like, are you okay, Yoshiki? This is where Yoshiki was like, this is where he's like, it's an old Japanese secret by tricking Ava, pretending that he's actually going to back to pro wrestling Japan, pro wrestling Noah Japan. That's what it's called. That's what the Japanese wrestling company is called, like over in Japan. It's where then he's like, no, like I'm all good. Like it's an old secret. This is where Josh Briggs like, yeah, that's the spirit. This is where he gave him a big big brother hug to him, like if he is his big brother, even though they're obviously different nationalities, of course. But yeah, that don't matter when it comes to this friendship bond that they have, like because it's been like the case like that before, plenty of times with tag teams, whether if they're the same culture or not. But anyways, this is where then we got the next slide in. But I want to ask you this question: do you think that Josh Briggs and Yoshiki and Amora will win the tag team titles? Or like, do you think that like this will be coming up close and come up short just by a pinch? Which just decide. Like, let me know in the comments. Like, what's your opinion that's going to happen? I think this could be anybody's game. I would say I think this team of Briggs and Amora are so underrated. Like, I think they should get a shot at the tag title, just like something similar to like Hank and Tank. But at the same time, Hank and Tank just won those titles, so I'm not ready to see them lose just yet. I don't know what to say about this at this point. But anyways, let's move on to the next slide. Let's here we got a segment between the last two remaining members of the D'Angelo family, which is none other than Adriana Rizzo and the Don himself, Anthony D'Angelo. This is where it's like, is Luca here? And this is where then Adriana Rizzo was like, no, like you have to, like, have he ever messaged you? She's like, no, not since like he told me that he's gonna clear his head up like a couple of days ago, like or not a couple of days, hours ago, because Tony D'Angelo's like, then said like, yeah, but that was like a couple of hours ago, like when he said that. And this is where the Tony D'Angelo, oh no, this is where Adrian Rizzo's like, so what you're saying and what you're thinking. This is where then he responded back saying, you don't know. And this is where then he's like me, it's this is where then this is where then this is where then what's his name? Tony D'Angelo then let Adrian Rizzo then say that we have to throw the mattress on this one between him and what's his name? Between him and Stacks, where she were like, no, like you, and this is the guy that you basically grew up with. This guy, like, and and this is where she basically said the same thing what Luca Crucifino said earlier to Stacks Lorenzo. This is where then we got. This is where then Adrian Rizzo's like yeah, like and I think about like Stacks is the reason why that I know how to fight today, like and not be a pushover, and then this is where then Tony D'Angelo then told her like told her to just stay out of this because he did not want to see her be up at risk and getting hurt. Like he wouldn't forgive himself because he's truly like a big brother to her. Like because that's why they call themselves the D'Angelo family, because they are like family. But it's where then they gave a quick embrace, hug, like before he left. Is where then he told her that he has to settle this with their former kayfabe brother, I guess you could say. But what are your thoughts on how do you think they're going to settle this between? How do you think that Tony and Stacks are going to settle this I'll say what that conflict between one another? Let me know down in the comments below, and then if you think what kind of stipulation of a match that you think that they're gonna be present for. Do you think that whoever loses is going to be writing off and getting called up to the main roster? Be probably a perfect send off of of them having their last run at NXT in this way, and maybe maybe we see maybe somebody some of the higher ups in the main roster probably see some high high potential into one of these guys, and maybe that's what they're probably leading it into. Which I would assume, like because next week they said they will be seeing each other face to face in the ring, which I'm wondering if it's a match or a segment. Like, and if so, then do you think this is gonna be a lead up into that point? Let me know in the comments down below. But this is where we got Sarah Schreiber that interviewed Ricky Saints and letting them know the updates about this title for title match gonna be canceled. Like, well, in the part it's gonna be changed, I should say, rather than not be canceled, because the title match is going on despite the lack of of Lexis King no longer having the North American. I mean, not the North American. The Heritage Cup Championship, I mean to say. It's only going to be a singular title match, like, at this point. This is where she explained that, saying, like, unfortunately, yeah, for King, he lost his trophy to Noam Dar. This is where we saw, Ricky Saints then gave his flowers and his gratitude to the returning Noam Dar, and that he's happy that he got his trophy back. But this is where he immediately gets interrupted by a man they successfully defended the title, which is the All Ego Man himself, which is Ethan Page. This is where, like, if it isn't the man that took, if it's not the same guy that took out Noam Dar himself, and it was Ethan Page that attacked him, because it led up into a storyline with where everybody thought it was Trick Williams that attacked, including the rest of the metaphor, until what's that Ethan Page revealed himself to be the attacker, which I like how WWE played the story in the long game for a whole year, which now we saw. Now we saw what's his name back, Noam Dar. This is where we can do the match, and maybe we can even add the Heritage Cup Championship involved into it, like into this storyline here. But this is where the Ricky Saints is like, so you want another shot at this? Like, okay, well, we can anytime, any place. This is where Ethan Page had nothing else to say, only just saying it's Saints. But this is where we got what's his name just came out of the blue, like out of the what did Simon calls it, the Starship Enterprise, if I'm not mistaken. This is where then he came out of there, and this where Lexis King attacks Ricky Saints right into this little equipment box of WWE backstage. And this is where Ethan Page like, well, it seems like you're already occupied by somebody else. Like, maybe we could sell this another time. You like, good luck. And this is where he patted him right on the shoulder. This is where then I believe he's gonna be trying to go after Noam Dar, or maybe even Noam Dar will call out the fact that the All Ego wrestler did attack him backstage, and maybe even have a video of it. But this is where we got Roxanne Perez that came out, and it will be the main. And it is the main event of the evening, and that was her match against Stephanie Vaquer, with her trying to get her title back, while basically Stephanie Vaquer trying to fight the rights and her privileges of being a championship, and also trying to get some justice from getting her moment in the main roster taken away by the Prodigy herself. And let's say we saw basically that, but this is where This is where the show, like, it was, yeah. And they showed that next week it will be Lexis King gets Ricky Saints, while Yoshiki Inamura and Josh Briggs taking on the Hank and Tank for the NXT Tag Team title. And I'll say the Heritage Cup Championship match, I have to give it the bronze trophy of the night. Given that this surprising return led into a shocking title change, which I think they did a very good job executing it, of telling the story. Like, he's been away from his Heritage Cup trophy for far too long. But this women's match gets the number one golden trophy tonight. It just shows, like, not only in WWE, NXT, or any brand in WWE, that the women's tag team the women's division is at its best. I'll say overall the women's division has been at its best in pro wrestling, and I'll say it's probably finally gotten to the heights that it should have been, like, from the last decades, like, of women struggling to try to make a name for themselves in the promotion. But it's where we got This is where Roxanne Perez tried to go for a right hand. They're playing the game that your husband's on. Okay, I'm just kidding. But anyways, this is where we got Roxanne Perez finally cornered the Chilean Dark Angel. This is where the chuck over right hands. This is where I believe we had Booker T start being biased about this about most of the time with his former student being in this match. And that's where I was like, and that's where even what's name started questioning him about this, Vic Joseph, with Booker T denying about him being biased, with him being an unbiased professional journalist, which I was like, yeah, like that's most of the times, like with you having the fetish about Stephanie's head scissor face buster maneuver, and also like about Lola Vice and that girl that's named, that her last name's named after her color, and that claims that she's sexy or whatever you want to call her. But yeah, this is why I started imitating him, saying like Roxy's the sugar honey iced tea, just like my last name. I thought Huffman was your last name, Book. But anyways, this is where we got. This is where I was like, and what else do you do behind closed doors with Roxy? And this is where this is why I even imitated Roxy. Like I got a boyfriend, for Christ's sakes. And I'm like, oh, is that your business? Is that any of my business that you just explained? He must have went to the snack bar. But anyways, this is where we got what's her name, Stephanie Vaquer, to go for a leg with a dragon screw. Excuse me for a moment, because I think my dad just came back to life. Hey, you got about $5, sir? I may do have some in my pocket. I'm like your grandpa would do if he was playing in around the bar. I'm confused. Is this bikini bottom or heaven? Man, get him off. That's an agency? Bang! All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back here from heaven, like at least for now. But yeah, here we go. Here we go with the back to the video with Roxy start saying that she has a boyfriend or whatever. She doesn't have anything to do with Booker and any of his activities or whatever. And I was like, yeah, well, like, what? Why did you reveal all this to me? Like, what I got to? Why you're telling me this? Like, I thought it was none of my business. But anyways, here's a Booker T like, I taught Roxanne to be the best, and that's what we doing, which she was doing it at the moment, of course, that is, because she couldn't get the job done, like if you couldn't do it behind closed doors. But anyways, like whether if it's an actual boyfriend or book or whatever it is, like she did not close that book, like of the story of whatever adventure there. And Vic Joseph must have given Booker T a reminder that he's a married man, because he just wouldn't stop talking about women in a very I should say more like an appropriate way. I should say. I'll think of probably another word to say, but I couldn't find anything else other than inappropriate. So yeah, like that's probably the best term to put it at this time. But anyway, this is where we got Roxy that ends up going for a hammerlock maneuver lock onto the Chilean wrestler, only for her to picture of hit the former NXT Women's Champion to a wheelbarrow, ended up getting reversed by Stephanie Vaquer. This is where did she try to go for a pin? She got her into a pin, but this is where Roxy kicks out of it. This is where then Stephanie's like, what are you gonna do now? Like little prodigy, if that's what they call you these days, because you do everything. You did everything but prodigetic things here in NXT, or maybe some disgraceful things. Like I don't know what you even do. Maybe it's best I don't know. Just like your boy SNA would say. But anyway, this is where we got the reigning defending NXT Women's Champion that got her to a this arm stretch lock, which Roxy surprisingly got out of, by the way. Which I'll say that takes pure dedication to get them out of it easily, like if it's clockwork. But this is where then we got Roxanne Perez then trying to run up and try to hit her knee strike, but she ends up getting tripped over by Vacare. But this is where Perez then did the same to Vacare. This is where we got Roxy ends up trying to go for a crossface, try to grab him by his arm. This is where then he tried to go for a roll up. This is where we got she get a kick out at 2.6. This is where Stephanie Vacare then got her into like a wheelbarrow roll up, which she did this arms cross with her bending back, like, which I don't know how Vacare does that. I know she's very flexible, but I wouldn't say I would not know she was that flexible. Like she's some kind of a skinny boned, what's that called? Like twistable person that gets twist their whole arms, which I don't know if she could do all that, but this is where we got Roxanne Perez going for a headlock. This is where we got this is where she gets Irish Whip right at the top corner slide. But this is where she gets shoulder tackled by the Prodigy. This is where she starts kicking dust on her. But that's very disgusting and disrespectful. The double D words. But this is where we got leapfrog duck. This is where she goes. Stephanie Vacare dodge out of the cold. This is where she goes for a roll up. But this is where we got Roxy kicks out of it. This is where Roxanne Perez like, I will be the NXT Women's Champion, Women's World Champion when I get called to the main roster, and I'm gonna get the WWE Women's Champion, which I never thought she would be sounding more delusional since she do now. Maybe it's because of paying the visit to Booker T's hotel room. But this is where we got. And we got Stephanie Vacare that throws, Roxy throws Stephanie right to the right, bottom right side. Then start hitting some strikes onto her face. Go for a wrist lock onto to the reigning defending NXT Women's Champion, threw her to the upper left side. Try to go for a splash, but she ends up getting dodged by the Chilean star. That's where then she grabbed onto the Prodigy, but this is where then we got Roxanne then ends up hitting a headlock. This is where then she got her down about kneeling down. This is where she gets thrown right to the left side, but she ends up getting arm dragged right into the ground, or they get head driving right to the ground. This is where we got Roxanne Perez then trying to form strike, only for Stephanie to pick her up, hit the back suplex, made her squeal into the air. This is where we got Stephanie Vacare finally goes for that head scissor maneuver that got both Booker T and the Homeless Man Hurricane hollering, which I understand why. These guys have extreme issues. Like the Homeless Man Hurricane must have been watching this on his Typhoon house, because you could probably can hear him shouting the loudest more than Booker T was shouting, even though they were on the other side of the country in Las Vegas. That's where Booker T's like, oh yeah, she's doing it, even though it's even though she's doing it to my former student, but I still like to see Stephanie like drop it down. And this is where then I was like, whatever that means. But that's where Roxy rolled out of the ring. Maybe a smart move from the Prodigy, because this is where she started grabbing onto the apron when Stephanie Vacare tried to drag her back in the ring. This is where we got her breaking her in the eyes when the referee was distracted by fixing the apron. This is where we got Roxanne Perez through Stephanie right to the upper left side. Roxanne springboard flip, boots her right into the face. Then we got Roxanne Perez going for the knee. Then right on that exact same injured arm that she messed up. This is where we got Roxanne Perez like, you're welcome, by bowing. This is where Booker T like, yeah, the Prodigy's on a roll, yeah. I was like, this guy thinks he'll never get old. Despite getting old, like, he probably thinks he will stay, I don't know. He probably still thinks he's in his 20s to this very day. But yeah, he probably believes in that saying, age is nothing but a number. But yeah, there's some that might say that. I know just quite a few of those people. But at the same time, you gotta start acting like your age. But anyways, there's times that I eventually have to act like that. Like I act like I'm probably Roxanne Perez's age, and I act like if I'm older than her. But she's like 3 months older than me. But anyways, this is where we got. This is where we got. Stephanie Vaquera that dips Roxanne right to the right side, the left side. She hits the arm drag right onto the injured arm of Vaquera. Drop kicks her right into the right left side. Then we got her trying to collect the Chilean wrestler. This is where them try to go for the suplex. This is where we got Stephanie Vaquera flips out of it. This is where she starts hitting some right hands to the face, like boom, 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 boom. And this is where then we got this is where she slaps across her face. This is where she goes for a super kick, hits the head. But then we got Roxy, then goes for not Roxy. Stephanie goes for a super kick on the Roxy apron. She hit the 619 onto the out from the outside. I was like, man, I don't think I ever seen Rey Mysterio hit a maneuver like this. Like I'd see why WWE hired someone like her, like. Which I believe Rey Mysterio was her idol. And the funny thing about that, they both were on the same show on Netflix, which is a shout out to Against the Ropes, by the way. But anyways, this is where we got Stephanie Vaquera hit the double knees to the face, but I think the one that beat her twice before does it better. But this is where we got Stephanie Vaquera snapmares Roxanne after that. This is where she did the point to Booker T, which I believe that she must have something to do with this wild affairs that he has. Hopefully that she don't do this right in the face for two reasons. I want to apologize to Stephanie Vaquera for saying that because I think she would think I'm losing my mind if I say that she wants to have anything to do with Booker in this caliber. And since that, yeah, for those other reasons, I guess you would do it in a heartbeat by hitting those what's that called? Like she did the Roxanne, that triangle face buster maneuver. Like, yeah, which I better shut up or else I'll end up just like Roxy with Booker T like and this is where we had some of the fans that had it, which I think those are the pervs from Twitter and subreddit that love talking about females like these two. But this is where we got and then some, I should say. But this is where we got Stephanie Vaquera trying to go for that double underhook package backbreaker majiggy, but Roxanne turned into a crossface, only for her to get hit with the surprise rope, which is of the devastation. When Roxanne tried to hit the crossface, which I believe she's trying to be like somebody that beaten Stephanie Vaquera before, saying like she beating her with this maneuver again. Maybe I can do it too. But they're totally different wrestlers. Which I'll say they both are former NXT Women's Champions, but she held more titles than she can count. Like both in WWE's main roster and other places, which she still is to this day. But anyways, this is where we got Roxy that hits a strike right onto Stephanie. This is where we got G super kicked her right to the ear. This is where she tried to go for a pop rocks. Only for the Vaquera that picks her up, try to go for like a back suplex majiggy. But this is where G turned into like a backbreaker, looking like a reverse version of that double underhook package backbreaker maneuver. Then is where we got Stephanie Vaquera that ends up but yeah, this is where we got Stephanie Vaquera then goes for a moonsault, only for Roxy to slap her across her face. This is where then we got Roxy hit the hot shot right onto the arm, like ow! And this is where she must have been screaming, which we couldn't hear because they must have probably muted out like the volume for a little bit, but we still can hear Vic Joseph, Corey Graves, and Booker T on the commentary desk. So I don't know how they could do that. But it's where Roxanne Perez go for a face buster majiggy to a crossface, thinking that she's gonna be like her idol that already beaten Stephanie Vaquera twice in the other companies too. Two of the companies that's working together, I should say. But this is where we got that didn't work because she don't have that strength, she don't have that ability, she don't have that level like that wrestler that beat Stephanie twice. But this is where did you try to go for a face buster maneuver? But Stephanie Vaquera flipped right over to a pin. But this is where we got Vaquera try to get right back up, only for Roxy to try to think she could hit her with a pop rocks with a roundhouse kick. But Stephanie Vaquera grabbed her on the leg. She hit a roundhouse kick of her own. This is where we got Vaquera like, it don't feel good to get hit with your own maneuver. This is what you throw right to the bottom left side. Then we got Roxanne Preston go for a flip over to a pop rocks, like if she's like her own version of Cody Rhodes when he does that rolling flip maneuver, like into a center. But this is what you try to turn to her the Ronald like she's Mickey James. Only for what's her name, Stephanie Vaquera grab onto one of her legs. And man, if it was like the same wrestler that already beaten Stephanie Vaquera twice, I would have felt bad right now. Like I said on my podcast back a few months ago, I reviewed that show. But yeah, this is where she dragon screwed her like that on that event. This is where Stephanie Vaquera hits her with that backbreaker maneuver. 1, 2, 3. Still your NXT Women's Champion, Stephanie Vaquera. Golden Trophy. Big congratulations. Yeah. And yeah, she definitely like earned that victory and in that match like as well. And how long do you think that she's gonna hold on to that women's championship? Well, that all depends on her next potential challenger, and that it was Julia. And I'll say I gotta admit, especially with me adding some entertaining and intrigue about Booker T having some kind of affair with his student, and that explains probably why he's so biased and favoritized about her. And also, like with me, also bringing up the homeless man, the hurricane, which some of y'all probably be asking, Austin, when was the last time you even talked about that guy, the homeless man, the hurricane, and what is his name? Well, I'll reveal him once he makes a guest star appearance on the SNA podcast, which I'm about to do in the foreseeable future. I'm about to introduce you to this guy of who this guy is. But for the meantime, we're gonna be bringing him up because he kind of reminds me of Booker T, and he just likes what kind of wrestling chaos does on NXT or any other wrestling company, or even the women's wrestlers are doing, which I don't know. That's just sounds very suspicious. Like that they like to see certain stuff like this. Like they say, well, Booker T, and it's from the Homeland Hurricane. This is his catchphrase. This is my favorite part with a big grin with his very bushy beard, where he looks very ugly and funny at the same time. I'm not trying to make fun of him or trying to insult him. I'm saying he's so hilarious. He had me dying with laughter every time he speaks. I'm having so hard, like I'm not trying to show the snot on my nose because it just came out of the blue. That's so embarrassing. But yeah, anyways, this is where we got Julia coming out, letting Stephanie know that she's coming after for NXT Women's Championship, and this is where we're gonna see this rematch for that exact same title. Man, like this match will never get old. Even if they get called up to the main roster tomorrow and fight for either the Women's World Championship or the WWE Women's Championship, this rivalry wouldn't be getting old anytime soon. I'll still be very intrigued about this, even though I never watched their New Japan work. But I heard that they're pretty much burning the roof off of that women's division for that women's championship that same women's wrestler is currently holding. She beaten Stephanie Vaquer twice, for that tournament for that exact same belt that she's currently holding, and when she became that championship, which she still held from beating Vaquer. But anyways, along with that belt from their rival company, which is the mid-card championship, I should say. And I heard that she's defending that next weekend. She's gonna be defending her championship that's from England, that's from the company that company's partnering with, which yeah, hopefully wish her the best of luck onto that, which I'm gonna talk about probably more about that tomorrow. But anyways, yeah, let me know in the comments who's gonna walk out of NXT, the next upcoming NXT event, for the NXT Women's Championship between Julia and Stephanie Vaquer. They have me very intrigued, which I'm gonna give it like a very high rating, like from the matches, from the returns, from the title change of Noam Dar with his big return, and some build up into future matches and title matches and feuds down the road. So it's definitely gonna get the perfect 5 stars. What a perfect night for for the NXT After Stand and Deliver, and hopefully that we will see more of these episodes in the foreseeable future. But what are your thoughts on NXT tonight? Please leave me a comment down below. Also, if you like this video, please give it a like, hit it, subscribe, click on the notification bell for more of SNA's videos. Also, subscribe on my other channel at SNA Entertainment. Link is in the description box below. And also check out my AEW Dynamite review video. The only thing I know about on that particular episode, we will be seeing the men's and women's Owen Hart Cup tournament match is going to be on. The semifinals are going to be on. The winners, we're going to be facing the wrestlers in the men's and women's division that's already qualified, which we got Kristen Statlander taking on what's her name? Jamie Hayter. Winner gets to face the CEO, Mercedes Moné, in the finals at Double or Nothing to see who's going to face the TIT woman herself, Timeless Toni Storm. But we also got Hangman Adam Page taking on Kyle Fletcher. The winner gets to take on Kyle Fletcher's former best friend and teammate of the United Empire, and that is my boy Will Ospreay. And who do you think's gonna face Moné and Ospreay? Let me know down in the comment section right down below. And I hope that my boy Ospreay and the CEO does get the W. And please leave the comment section right down below. And and what else is gonna be on the card for AEW Dynamite tomorrow? Like on April the 23rd, 2025. Let me look it up for a second.
No, I cleaned right here where she's sitting at. That's all that. I feel things in the table.
What else is gonna be on the card? I'll say, oh yeah, the irresponsible EVPs. Yeah, the irresponsible EVPs. What's their names? The Young Bucks, like that cannot even run a retail store, will be indeed in tag team action against my boys Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey. Make sure to check out AEW Dynamite tomorrow night. I cannot hardly wait to see who's gonna be the next guy and gal that's gonna be joining Will Ospreay and Mercedes Moné for in the finals, and hopefully it will be like somebody that's well deserving, which you already know who I mean. Wing, wing, nudge, nudge, and like we get to see a very interesting match on Double or Nothing. But yeah, I hope that you guys have a miraculous Tuesday, the rest of your Tuesday night, I should say. And I'll see you next time, likely tomorrow. And also make sure to check out my daily wrestling news video, which I'm going to be talking about the wildest and intriguing wrestling news stories and rumors that you assassinators need to know from the Wrestling Inc. Not Wrestling Inc., the Ringside News article, I should say. But yeah, that's all going to be on April 23rd, 2025. And I'll see you next time with some more SNA content. Until we meet again, Super Ninja Austin out of here. Bye-bye, my assassinators. Y'all take care. Have a miraculous, the rest of your night. And stay safe. Have fun. Believe in yourself. You can be just like your boy SNA. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Peace.